Hiya, and welcome back to Password, the game that teaches us that there are a lot of paths in each route. I cannot think of anything. So we're back! Ah! I think we're going to do Path A next, so let's just go ahead and get started on that. So let's just hop right in. Go here. Yup, just 8. I laughed, nervous. No sooner were the words out of my mouth that classic hyena chuckle gave me away. I snuck a glance at Haas, who seemed floored by my comment but made no mention of it beyond that. Guess he was happy letting things unfold for now.
Well, good to know, I suppose. Might have been a little odd if the person who lived here was still, well, here.
No, Master Oswell, that's why I am here. If the master of the house were still around, you'd likely have seen him around by now. I nodded slowly. At this point, I wasn't sure if I was convincing myself further on what Benson claimed to be fact, implicating one of my friends as Oz or not. Only us 8, huh? Well, hey, if Benson ever wanted in on the scavenger hunt proper, at least we'd have even teams. No. These old bones are much too tired to be gallivanting around about the place like I did in my youth. Why are the dogs barking? I'll be right back. And I'm back, and Dragon, no murder, not yet. No, I appreciate the offer. Well, if you change your mind, just let us know. Why, I believe I shall. But I believe for now I shall clean up from breakfast and move to doing some laundry. I shall be around if anyone needs anything. Anything at all. Benson picked up his breakfast dishes and wandered into the kitchen without saying a word. I watched him go, fidgeting as to whether or not I made the right decision. You're gonna clean the dishes. What are you doing, Master Dave? Oh, I just thought dishes. Helpful, you know? I gestured over my shoulder with my thumb, hoping I'd done a good enough job to pass for something a professional butler could do. Well, it is appreciated that you'd step in, but that is very much why I'm around. But helping is good, right? Absolutely, Master Dave. Oh, just Dave is fine. As you wish. There is another thing I wish to thank you for, at least now, knowing you did the dishes. What's that? For not pointing out the Master's presence. Well, there's every chance that he's one of us, right? And there being an extra person will just complicate things, right? Complications are a matter of opinion, my boy, but you are correct. There is every chance that he's one of your friends. Or someone else. Wait, so is he or isn't he an extra? I was starting to think there were 9 of us here. Did you not come to that conclusion when you conversed last night? That there was indeed an extra beyond just your friends? Well, now that you think about it, couldn't you be Oz? Pardon? Yeah, like, you know the house well enough, and I haven't seen you and Oz at the same time, so... Astute observation, perhaps I am Oz. Wait, really? I suppose you'll just have to wait until tonight, assuming you can find the library. Any tips for that beyond what you said before? Benson seemed to think things over, stroking his mustache. A lot of this is just skipping.
It'd be very on theme, don't you think?
What, like Murder Mansion having secret means of moving around to get around us?
Exactly. Wouldn't surprise me if there was something given how big the place is. Why wouldn't you have a secret panic room? If you're rich, why not splurge on one?
Is that normal? Hang on. Yeah, is that normal?
Like I said, if you have the money, why not?
I feel like that's sort of a waste of money, isn't it?
Maybe. Unless you're hiding something there as well.
Maybe. I am trying to pop my ears. And they are not wanting to cooperate. Before I do, Oz wanted me to deliver something to you. Oh, how come? You will grow tired of me saying this, but it comes down to loyalty. Suffice to say, he entrusted me with something to pass on. Oh, I like presents. No, Master Dave, it is not a physical boon. Oh, information. Just something to keep in mind for later. Alrighty, lay it on me. Bring your flashlight. My flashlight? I'll provide adequate batteries for you if you need them, and leave them in your room before dinner if you so wish. Easy, I can do that. Very good. Now, happy hunting. Check in on who? Who are we checking in on? The Durg and the lion. Ah! Yeah, we'll just ask Haas. Get all the information we need. It's the Durg route. Ah! Very well done, Master Dave. Yeah, Haas is going to show me later. Is he now? Mm-hmm. I gulped, realizing why Benson had said to bring my flashlight with me. It's almost pitch black down there. I had my flashlight in my hand, primed with new batteries thanks to Benson. Not only that, but seeing the state of the library myself told me that I was going to need it. All this is the same. What should I ask him? Okay, what are we going to ask Oswin? Rabbit. Okay, ribbit. Rabbit. Almost immediately, Oswin's face contorted into a tight frown, looking disgusted. Did you say... Should, The boar across from me grumbled, almost growling before he set his eyes upon me again. I hate rabbits. Racist! The flinch reaction of me calling that out in jest like I would with my friends fell flat. There was no smile that came after, just another intense frown. Perhaps so, but I despise them all the same. But why? Childhood stories, mostly. Our family had some interesting takes on some classics. Either way, I do not trust them. Oh, well, alright. Next question. Did we type daddy? Hang on, we're gonna try daddy first. We can't talk all night, Dave. Right, that's why it'd be best to ask things that pertain to what's immediately relevant. Hey, but how am I meant to know what is and isn't? Fair, but still. At least keep that in mind before asking your next question. Okay, mycology. Now there's a subject I do enjoy. Mycology is a great thing. But it's just mushrooms, right? What's so great about mushrooms? Perhaps it's just a boar thing. Oh yeah, Roswell apparently knows a bunch about picking mushrooms. He went on a few nights ago and, well, he got lost, but he apparently knew what he was doing. Well, that's no surprise. Those woods are treacherous, and he doesn't strike me the type to have much first-hand experience in navigating the wilds. Yeah, that sounds about right, at least. It's a shame you didn't have someone to take him out there. Could have avoided getting lost otherwise. Perhaps that bear friend of yours. I suppose so. Funnily enough, Roswell would be fine finding anything mushroom-related if he could make his way back safely. What makes you say that? It may be racist, but boars have a sense of smell for these sorts of things in particular. You could almost assume we were bred for this sort of thing, and you'd be essentially correct. That doesn't mean Roswell is, right? Well, no, that's true. There's every chance that he doesn't have the best sense of smell out of you and your friends. Wait, what? There was a slight smirk on his face as he said that. Just a hunch I have. Okay, parents. Oswin sighed, shaking his head briefly. Seemed like he wasn't going to be answering that question. Okay, Watermill. You seem to be struggling. Can you blame me? There's so many things I could ask. So many ways to ask. I grumbled, huffing out through my nose. Oswin, however, seemed to hold a smirk as he looked me over. How about this, then? Maybe you should ask of the things I talked about just before, or perhaps start with my interests. But why would I do that? If anything, it could buy you some time. Shed. Okay, shed. Did you hear me? I heard you. I just have nothing to say to that. Oh, okay, You know what? Fuck it. Memphis. The frown I got in response told me that maybe I'd said something I shouldn't have. Reinforced further by the fact that Oswin had decided to stay quiet, his gaze almost saying that I should try something else. Okay, Okay. Shed in the forest. I don't tend to wander around the woods these days. Not anymore. Why not? Why at all? Everything I require is within the grounds of the mansion. To be frank, most things entertaining for me are indoors over the wilderness anyway. So with that in mind, unless you have pointed questions about the woods, I can't help you. Okay. David. You seem to be struggling. Yes, we're fucking struggling. Yeah, we're fucking struggling. You know, fine. Shack. There's no shack on the manor grounds as far as I can recall. Closest thing would be the greenhouse, unless what? Nothing, don't worry about it. The only thing that resembles that would be far enough from here, it shouldn't be a concern. You know what, we're just going to stay silent. Oswin stretched before yawning, not bothering to cover his mouth or hold it back. I got up, shaky before following suit. At first glance, it seemed as though there wasn't anyone else around. It felt lonely, but I knew that I needed the space to think things over. Where were the others, though? Were they all separated, or were they together? I grumbled, digging my fingers into my head and lightly tugging on my fur. It was only when Benson cleared his throat that I took notice of him, standing off to the side, watching me curiously. Are you quite alright? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I haven't been here long, but you seem distraught. Actually, no, yes, I am. I threw my hands up before letting the entirety of my body slump just shy of being enough to make me fall to the floor as I groaned. Last night took a lot out of me. Did you make the most of it, though? I guess it... I don't know if it's really gotten me anywhere, though. Indeed, Master Oswin mentioned as such when I brought him his breakfast. Was he saying it about him or me? He's undecided about himself. All I know is that he was eager to get to his lab this morning to do something. I may have been around a while, but when the master goes on about... Benson paused, toying with his mustache while he pondered something. The more technical aspects of both his hobbies and qualifications, I find myself at a loss. Oh, well, okay, maybe I'll find out in a few days then. What makes you say that? Oh, he said in a few days that he'd show me something, so I don't know, maybe it's something involving that? I wonder. Yes, before I forget, your laundry is almost ready. Oh, great! I would advise against being so messy in the future. Pumpkin stains are easy enough to get rid of, other things not so much. Promise! I'll bring your clothes to your room sometime today. Oh, okay, sorry for the mess. I, shifted on the spot, uncomfortable. Now, my boy, if I've had to clean up after Master Oswin, I'm sure your room will be fine by comparison. Is he really messy? Oh, you have no idea. Now, I best be off. Good day, Master Dave. Oh, see you later, Benson. I watched Benson move towards the stairs and about halfway up before continuing on. I wondered if it was worth bringing it up with the others. If seeking help from the others was worth blowing Oswin's cover. That's right. Benson made us lunch before moving off to go do something else. Not sure what, though. He seemed to be in a hurry. We're just going to be holding down control just a lot. I shook my head. Benson would probably get to it later, right? Even then, I felt like I should really clean up, if only to help out. I opted for the middle ground, organizing the dishes so at least the plates were stacked, mugs all together, so that whoever did clean up had an easier time of it. Ah, shit. Do we want to apologize again or stay quiet? Control button is working overtime today. It really is. Roswell, Orlando, I'm sorry. Especially you two. I should have, checked.
This vacation was meant to be for all of us, so it would have been nice to know who you decided to invite. But I can't hold it against you. It's not like I bothered to check.
Would you feel the need to check, Rothwell?
No, probably not.
The upside, though, at least from my end, is that I've noticed a change. I didn't really want to make a big deal about it, but I've also been keeping my distance. But if you're sorry about not checking with us first, Dave, I forgive you. What sort of friend would I be if I held that against you and let it sour the vacation?
Right. Ditto. All is forgiven. Well, not everything, but we're well on our way. At least as far as you and me, Dave, we're good.
And of Tyson?
I'm willing to keep a more open mind. Not necessarily about a clean slate, but only one way forward.
Same here, but are we allowed to call each other out on behavior and decisions, to avoid incidents like a couple days ago?
I think that's fair, right?
That extends to everyone, right? Of course. There were rumbles of agreement from everyone. The control button is working overtime right now. Ah, shit. Hang on. And I was a bit too slow, I guess. Oh well. So close.
Monday.
Ah, shit. Which one are we doing? Are we doing skip, wild, or reverse? Which friendship are we ruining today? I placed the card down looking to Orlando. He could barely sit still, it seems, and it was hardly a surprise.
Yes, perfect. You can't be serious. Yup, I win.
Orlando slammed down his final card, also a reverse card, just in a different color. Well done.
Yeah, good game. That was close.
I gathered up the cards and shuffled. Oh, wait, no. Hold his hand or change the subject. Hydrate. Disappointed. Durg is disappointed. He has all the disappointment because he's disappointed. Ah!
8. All of us plus Benson, right?
My eyes narrowed, nodding slowly. There was only 8. Oswin didn't exist. It was a lie that I decided to keep for now. Why is he disappointed? I don't know. He's just disappointed. Right.
Okay, 8 people. That's easy.
Orlando's just built different. The Durg is built different because he's a Durg. Ah! Invite him to stay or reassure him. Fuck. The Durg is a Durg. He's build chunky. Invite. Did you want to stay? What? Yeah, I don't know. We could do a sleepover, maybe cuddle until you're feeling better.
I don't know, Dave. I don't think I'm feeling it tonight.
Ah, shit. Come on, it'll be great. We can grab some snacks from downstairs and... I said no. Things... Yeah... My fucking heart. We made the Durg sad. Looking around, I wonder what the chances were of Benson being around that I could offload that chore onto him. After all, that's what butlers were for, right? Still, there was no telling if he was even awake, and even if he was, his duties were to be to Oswin first, right? Oh, all right. Not going to ask me what it was? It's too early. Besides, I get the feeling you're not going to be telling me anyway. A better question: why are you awake? Wondered if Benson was awake. As I assumed he'd probably come and make breakfast for Oswin at some point. Maybe there'd be a chance to talk. Okay then. The sound from behind me made me spin around, leaving my coffee on the counter. Good morning, Master Dave. Good morning. Someone's up early, having trouble sleeping. It's a long story. Well, don't mind me, I just have to fetch breakfast for Master Oswin. I didn't hear you come in, honestly, you're very quiet. Well, I do have my ways. You should be no stranger to secret passages by now. Oh. Don't mind me, I'll be gone before long. What even does a guy like Oswin eat for breakfast? I've been wondering what someone with that much money has as their diet. Children's cereal. Man after my own heart. Oswin is a man after my own heart. Grown-ass man eating children's cereal. Right? The blank look I was giving him made him shake his head before he strode over to a pantry to pull out a box from near the back. He's a man of simple tastes, if I wasn't around. Chances are he'd subsist mostly on his sugar-laden rubbish and instant noodles. Good thing he has you around then, huh? Indeed. It didn't take him long to assemble a tray of food before heading out of the kitchen, into the hallway leading to the foyer. I listened as he left, wondering if I could hear another door opening to hint where the passage might be. But nothing. It was my nose that was strong, not my ears. But chances are that everyone is going to want breakfast, right? But maybe Benson was going to sort that out after he tended to Oswin. Still, prepare breakfast? Yes. Happy Yeen pancakes. Ah! The floor, the walls, the door were speed running. As I turned around, Master Dave. Oh, Benson, hello. You look troubled. More so than usual. Whatever is the matter? I decided I'd try and piece together what the next danger would be. Get the vault to work again. Ah, quite a task you've set for yourself. How is that going thus far? Well, I don't really have anything solid to go off. At the moment, it's just Sal, I suppose. Your crocodile friend? What about him? When I left the library after talking to Oz when he was in the conservatory, just kinda standing there, but he doesn't remember doing that. Does he sleepwalk, perhaps? I used to do so when I was younger. Sleepwalking? Indeed. Perhaps he sleepwalks and just decided to take a stroll. Or he has more of a skill for acting than Master Haas. I doubt that. At the very least, he didn't know about the bookcase entry, unless he's lying. Perhaps, Master Dave, perhaps. Why is my laptop screaming? What should I do? Do you think I'm worrying for no reason? Not at all. Master Oswin expressed worry himself this morning. You're not the only one wondering what the next event will entail. But there will be one. Consider an old sense reigniting, the familiar scent of murderous intent on the air, if you will. Not that it's anything remotely tangible, my boy. Just an inkling this old otter has. Should I have a gun, a weapon, anything like that? Unless you wish to get accused of being the assailant, I would advise against it. The best I can do is to state that I have no intention of harming any of you without express instruction from Master Oswin. Well, that's something at least. However, Dave, why is your computer screaming? It doesn't like stream. It does not like this. It does not. However, what? Benson stroked his mustache, seemingly thinking something over. It is probably nothing, but I would potentially want to address that first. The prospect of a puppet is a dangerous one. A puppet? You don't mean... It is unlikely that anyone could use your crocodile friend to kill, but with a little creativity, that's still one problem that's worth addressing lest you wish for a massacre. I gulped at the prospect. If he was describing it as a massacre, what did he expect could happen? A big man such of himself would be a force in his own right. Putting him down would be somewhat of a challenge without being considerably armed. What do you suggest? Talking to him for a start, Master Dave. Where is he now? Rather than tell him, I wandered over to the pool, and Benson followed. Sure enough, Sal was sitting by the pool with his eyes looking at the water. Sal? He grunted in response, doing a double take when he realized that I wasn't alone. He scrambled to his feet as he noticed Benson giving him a brief bow. I'll be plain, Master Sal. Do you experience sleepwalking? Sleepwalking? Not that I know of. Fascinating. Why is that fascinating, Benson? If he does, then he is flagrantly unaware of it. But this might be of benefit to you. What is this about? Remember what we were talking about upstairs, Sal? Benson had an idea. Oh, pay me no mind. Just consider it just an act of passing down wisdom. However, I do have another question, although it is quite bold of me to ask this directly. What is it? Benson seemed to wait only a moment before asking his question, and he asked it bluntly. Have you ever killed someone, Master Sal? Damn! The fuck is up with my ears? Sal's face paled and he took a step back. Or perhaps just thought about it. To be perfectly honest, even if the predisposition is there is all I'm after. Benson! You can't go asking that. Have I overstepped a line? I meant no disrespect. After all, it's been... Yes, I have. The comment was muttered, but I could still make it out. It was an accident, but yes. Then perhaps we're in the clear, then. As far as taking a life is concerned, an accident doesn't constitute enough of a risk. Should I be worried? Oh, Benson wondered if you were sleepwalking because... Actually, why were you wondering about that? Allow me to explain. Someone that can be hypnotized and those that are prone to sleepwalking have some level of suggestibility. Things you can convince someone to do or think while they're in this state is. Put simply, it's a means of rewiring the brain. Forgive the simplicity with how I say this, but convincing someone to potentially kill another is possible if the right conditions are met. What conditions? A predisposition to the action you're suggesting to them. In this case, requesting for the person currently hypnotized to kill another requires that they have some inner desire to end another's life. What about that creativity mentioned before? Ah, that. Consider it a loophole. One could still get the person in a trance to kill if they framed their suggestion in a different way. Say perhaps handing them a vial of poison, asking them to administer a dear friend some medicine. Or season a pot of food. They would be unknowing of what they truly held, but be under the impression they were doing something innocent. But that's terrifying. Indeed. But while the potential is there, the likelihood of all this happening is very low. Have a decent sleep and you'll be fine, I'm sure of it. Alright, I think I can do that. Now, if you excuse me, gentlemen, and Master Dave, should you need anything else, I'll be around. All worked through trauma. It's Sal. Is there a pattern? Yes. Alrighty. We are doing Path A. Hang on, let me go back one. Hang on, I'm going to do 2 saves. And is this like the pass... Is Path A the password path or the not password path? Well, we're going to do path A first. Alrighty. I think it's sleepwalking. No. Try again. Sleepwalker. What is the password?
Self-voicing disabled.
Massacre. That's right. But what if taking the medicine makes it worse? I'll take a medicine to make things worse. What kind of medicine is it again, Dean? Bear tranquilizers. What the fuck? Oh, I think I see the problem. Fucking bear tranquil. Well, at the very least, bringing it up is a better thing than just bottling it up. Dave just casually pissing everyone off. I groaned out, slumping back against the stairs before I caught movement nearby. Huh? Must you be so loud in the morning? I wasn't loud, I was just... The words were already out of my mouth before I realized the irony, and saw Oswin crack a smile. Weren't you in your, hiding? I'm on my way to bed. Wandering my own house is somewhat normal, given I live here, no? But staying hidden and... Believe me, I'm aware. But at the same time, consider that I would know how best to move about my house. Outside of, perhaps, Benson. So you're going to disappear now? Soon. Are you still interested in another meeting tonight? If you change your mind, then I suppose that's that. No! No, I'm still interested. Good, because I have questions for you after last night. You put on quite a show. You were watching? The equivalent to a morning television program, if anything. But something that I've been pondering while you've been asleep, no doubt. I scrunched up my nose at him, feeling bitter that I was just a form of entertainment for him. Am I funny to you? Funny? No. Fascinating. Oh, absolutely. Granted, your mental state is something I'm concerned about. Whatever effect the vault is having on you is something that could do some lasting damage. I don't have a choice if it's keeping my friends alive. Quite. Which is why it's imperative I monitor you when I can to make sure you don't degrade further. Either way, it's something to address tonight. I'll meet you at the library at 11 p.m. and I'll take you to the lab from there. I can't just meet you at the lab? Not this time, not without me showing you the way first. That in itself is a test that I'm curious to know how you'll respond. I wasn't convinced, and it must have shown in my face. Don't worry about it, Dave. I shall see you tonight. I didn't think to follow him, but I watched as he headed towards the basement. I could only assume that he had another secret passage down there or had something else planned. Either way, the others were likely to start showing up soon. Hand on my shoulder made me jump, and I spun to look at who had touched me as they pulled their hand away. Oh, it's just you. Did I scare you? Heaven forbid I did anything of the sort. No, it's fine, really. Didn't even smile. Even if I wanted to out of reflex, it just didn't happen. What's troubling you, my boy? You look worse for wear, and no wonder given the hour. I just don't know anymore. All this stuff is just getting to me. Pulled my gaze away to stare at the coffee pot, hoping it'd finish brewing faster. It's been getting to me for a bit now, but no one understands. Right. As far as they know, this is just a thing in my head. After all, what would you do if your friend told you that you were going to die out of nowhere? He didn't respond, so I continued. Or if you had to accuse one of your friends for murdering someone else. What do I do? There's nothing you can do, my boy. For one reason or another, you've made this decision, and the only one holding you to it is yourself. What if someone dies? Everyone dies, be it by natural causes or by an assailant in the night. Take it from someone with first-hand experience in such matters, Dave. Like that's meant to help anyone, that's not going to help me, knowing that everyone's just gonna die. Then perhaps, Master Dave, you should stop believing you have absolute control over everyone's life. If it is their time, it is simply their time. I clenched my jaw, then my fist. The next thing I knew, I was throwing a fist at Benson. Maybe it was something rubbing off on me from Tyson, maybe it was just an act of defiance after what Benson had said. But his moves were calm and precise, stepping around my arm and grabbing my wrist and twisting it tightly, making me yelp. Now you listen here, my boy. His grip tightened and I started to whine as he forced me to my knees, kicking lightly behind my knee. It hurts, stop! Oh, does it? Then perhaps you should think twice about trying to inflict pain on others, my boy. I yelped as he clenched tighter, his grip almost like a vice. Then he let go, and the moment he did, I cradled my arm, whimpering. If you're that keen on fighting for control, then be ready for someone or something to fight back. Fighting for what's right is not necessarily the easiest road. It will hurt, Dave. He stepped away and I got up, shaky. But then... Yes, they'll die, I know. Take what I said as a precautionary tale, then. Eventually, something will break, my boy. At the rate you're going, it could just be you. He moved off to another part of the kitchen, and my gaze went to the floor. Oh, shit. I just had to make it through the day, to tonight. Oswald would tell me some more things, and knowledge was power, right? Said as much when I ran into him earlier. Or maybe not that specifically, but if he had anything to help me not break, as Benson put it, I was willing to listen. They're just like fucking up Dave. They're just destroying Dave right now. They're fucking him up. To the scrunkly. We're just speed running right now. We're speed running. He did do it to himself. He did do it to himself. I will say that. I made my way to the conservatory. After all, this was where I'd come those nights ago. Even though Oswin disappeared downstairs this morning, this was the passage I knew to follow. Not only that, but he said same place, which meant the library. Looking down from the landing, I saw Oswin leaning against the table we sat at those nights ago. He seemed to be looking at something in his hand rather than watching for my arrival. When I headed down the stairs, whatever he was holding he put in his pocket, looking up to greet me. Good evening. Yeah. What's the matter? Are you tired? No, it's not that. Just, I don't know. As a couple of days have been busy. Of course. Granted, it's been informative for me, watching things play out. I shuffled nervously on the spot, keeping my gaze on the floor. So, what are we meeting for again? Oswin huffed out quietly, his tone serious rather than coy. I've prepared something in the lab, someone for you to meet too. Frowning, I shot him a wary look. There shouldn't have been anyone else here unless someone had arrived without everyone noticing. Come this way, I'll show you to the lab. He wandered over to the large door and put something into the keypad, a familiar chime playing afterwards. Then the door itself started to open with a groan, just enough for Oswin to open it by himself. You opened it? Yes. Is that so odd? But it's just like downstairs. Well, yes, using the same door is one thing, but the systems connected to each are quite different. This just has a corridor behind it, or rather, my part of the house. Without explaining further, he stepped through the door, leaving it open for me to follow him through. Took another look at the library before steeling myself for what was on the other side of the door. The stretch of dark that led who knew where into the house. It was darker somehow than the passage from the conservatory to the library, but it didn't seem nearly as long when I bumped into Oswin's back. We're here. Just a moment. He did something in the dark and another chime played, with another door being thrown open. Oswin stepped inside and I lingered outside, letting my eyes adjust to the dim green light coming from the computer in the corner. Come on in, mind the mess. I stepped in, wondering if I should close the door behind me. Oswin, meanwhile was by a cabinet to the left, but it seemed there was another room attached to the room I stood in, based on the doorway tucked away in the corner. I cannot speak. This is the lab. Oswin wandered over to his desk, hanging a key on a cork board before turning to me. This is part of it. Mostly just my surveillance area and where I entertain myself. The lab proper is just over there. Taking another look around the room, it seemed like something out of a TV show where you imagined a mad scientist in the lab. Shelves of glass tubes and jars, books, and other sciencey equipment. It was dark with a few things that glowed various colors, almost like a lava lamp that we had back home. Do you like it? It's fine, I guess. Oh, come now, Dave. How often do you get to see something like this? Never, but science isn't really my thing. No? Then what is? I chuckled, kicking the floor lightly. I like making things. Arts and crafts and stuff. Making things? How incredibly juvenile. Hey! I'll have you know that I've made a lot of neat things. They keep my hands busy and they make me feel better. Well, as someone else that likes making things, then we should swap creations sometime. Huh? What do you make? If you had a square of paper, I could make a little origami pig for your desk if you want. Well, that'd be a neat little addition. Alas, I do not have paper like that for you to use. Actually, well, I remember we're getting off track. I brought you here to show you something. Then there's that matter of introducing you to someone quite special. He gestured to the desk chair as if offering for me to sit, and I did so, rocking lightly on the swiveling chair. But there's no one else here. Well then, how about you take a seat and I'll go grab what I've been preparing in the other room. I shouldn't be too long, but I should ask if you have any qualms with rodents. Like mice? No, they're neat, I guess. Good, then I shouldn't be long. Thanatos, would you mind entertaining my guest while I prepare what I need to? Thanatos? Osmond just waved over his shoulder, leaving me sitting at his desk. He disappeared into the next room while I swiveled in his desk chair to look at the computer. He had a half-completed game of Minesweeper open, plus a few other things open that seemed to be documents and reports about something complicated. Oi! Huh? Who said that? Me, you daft blighter! What? Oh! I looked down from the computer to the desk, a large black rat staring up at me. Around his neck was a collar that what seemed to be a small speaker attached to it. Finally! Took you long enough! Hello, Mr. Rat. Where did you come from? Have you seen, Thanatos? That'd be me. Wait, you're talking? Obviously. But you're just a rat. Rats can't talk. The rat tugged on his collar with a paw, seemingly understanding. Right about that one. My master and his sister got this up and running. Your master? Oh, you mean Oswin? Seemed to just watch me for a bit, almost assessing me or appraising me of something. Sure. It's nice to meet you. I'm Dave, by the way. Yeah, I know. So, why can you talk? Why make a collar so you can, You don't have the faintest idea of what's going on here, do you? Well, I'm talking to a rat. You're taking the mickey? A special rat? Still thrashed behind him slightly before falling deathly still, his eyes locked on mine. I'm just a lab rat. I help Master out with his work, including the vault. Help out how, though? He, from memory, he doesn't seem to think the vault works. Yeah? And what's your take on that? Of course it works. It's got to, right? After all, From the speaker, the rat seemed to chuckle in glee, rubbing its paws together. Yeah, it's been a riot to watch you doing what you do. Fallen down 3 times by now, yeah? Fallen down there 3 times by now, yeah? He chuckled again and I grumbled. Something like that, but yeah, it works just fine. You got that door open yet? Even through the speaker, the tone he adopted was dripping with some form of sarcasm. Of course I hadn't opened the door, and Thanatos seemed well aware of that fact. Wanna know what's behind that door? Wait, you know? Of course I do. I could tell you if you want, but you're going to want to come in close because it's meant to be a secret. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Hydrate. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck. Dave is going to get fucked up. I found myself leaning in towards the rat. Curious, Benson had us finding metals to open the door, but if I had a chance to find out what lay beyond the door, it might have been something to get us actively hunting for metals again. Is this close enough? Little closer. The whole time he had his eyes on mine, and I leaned in closer still. His nose was twitching, as if beckoning me closer. That's it. Right there should do it. I frowned, tilting my head slightly. Okay, so what's in the vault? See the rat's mouth twitch upward ever so slightly, his voice coming through the speaker, satisfied and smug. It's a secret. Oh, fuck. I yelped as my head was yanked back and up with something pressed against my neck. Something sharp, a needle maybe, but either way it hurt. Before I knew what was going on, Oswin had pulled away and placed what looked to be some sort of gun on the desk. Thanatos was now gone, having scurried off somewhere. He had a hand on the back of the chair to keep it stable. I found myself diving from it to the floor and clawing at my neck. What did you do to me? He said nothing at first, turning the chair towards me as if gesturing to sit back down, but I didn't move. You're going to sit down, and then you're going to answer some of my questions, Mr. Holloway. Wait, he's angry now? Oh, shit. I flinched upon hearing my name, propping myself up on my elbows as Oswald spoke to me again. Please do not make it this more difficult than it needs to be. Sit. No! He sighed, shaking his head. He seemed to rummage in his pocket for something, shielding it from me before placing it right back. Dave, it's pointless to resist. I've injected you with the truth serum. You're going to tell me everything I want to know, so there's no point in fighting it. When we're done, I'll give you the antidote. I paled and felt sick. My hand went to my neck and I whined, breath picking up as I panicked. But what if you don't? He looked me over, raising an eyebrow. You're more valuable to everyone alive. But if you want to take that risk, it is of course your own prerogative. So again, sit down. I picked myself up, trembling as I wandered closer and dropped myself in the chair. Then slowly, Oswin turned the chair to face him while he leaned against his desk. Now, I want you to take a look at something for me. Huh? Tell me what this word means, my boy. I struggled to focus on the piece of paper he was holding. There was a word written on it in thick red marker. I don't know that word. No? Then allow me to enlighten you. This word, metempsychosis, is a process where the soul transmigrates from one body at death to another. Do you follow so far? Nodding slowly, I stared at the piece of paper, the thick red lines etching themselves into my head. The veins in my arms itched and ached from what I assumed was the truth serum. You've never heard anyone use this word before, have you? No. There were big words that Roswell occasionally threw around, but nothing like this. Metempsychosis. Oh, fuck, it's a password. Interesting. He watched me for a bit before sighing out. Well, I'll be frank with you, Dave. Thanatos and I have been keeping tabs on what you've been up to, including your little foray last night. I'm forced to believe that the vault is working as it was intended to. For what reason and to what end, I haven't the faintest idea. I feel something crawling under my fur, and I started to feel hot. Was it running a temperature? Was I just dying? Next question. Does the name Florencia ring a bell? No? Should it? No. At least I would hope not. Granted, that does raise other questions. I just don't know where to start asking. Well, I should start with, that's the name of my sister. Is it important? Reginald is dead. Florencia is. He sighed, rubbing his head and adjusting how he was leaning against his desk. She's what? A problem. Do not get me wrong, I have some form of familial love for my sister, but there are some things best left, well, alone, shall we say. Still, to think we find ourselves here of all places, who are you really? I don't know how to best answer the question. What sort of information was he after? Dave Holloway, I'm no one special, I have a mom and a dad. Had a father, but go on. Hearing him clarify made me flinch, and in that moment, I didn't think to question how he knew that. I don't have any siblings, closest would be Tyson. I'm single too, but Orlando's been trying to, thought about it, wondering what was going on with Orlando. On one hand, he was trying to play wingman, but on the other, he was sending me some confusing mixed messages. And last question, Dave. Do you feel safe? Fuck. Good question. Good question, Oswin. Yes, we totally feel safe. I nodded slowly, staring at the older boar. All things considered, I felt relatively safe, but how much of that was faith I had in my friends, I don't know. My veins burned and itched, wondering if I was mistaken. Yeah, I think I'm safe. You're certain? Yeah. He quirked a brow as if asking me to clarify. Mostly. What I think is that you just want to know what's going on. You said it before, that if you wanted me dead, you'd have just done it, right? Osmond relaxed, sighing out. That's right. I have no desire to harm you, but a lot of what you do doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make sense, and frankly is so pseudo-scientifical that I'm half convinced you're pulling an elaborate ruse. He watched me carefully for a few moments before speaking plainly, his tone indicating that he thought through how he wanted to phrase his statement. We are done with our questioning, Dave. We're done, which means I should inform you that what I injected with you wasn't a truth serum. Frowning, I sat up in my chair, confused. Either he didn't notice or didn't care. He continued. What I injected you with it was just a saline solution. The rest you'll feel is probably more alert from being slightly less dehydrated. What'd I be dehydrated from? No, wait. Why'd you inject me with anything at all? Rising from the chair, I stomped my feet, seemingly feeling fine. To see if what was happening in the vault was just an application of the placebo effect, which honestly it still could be. Granted, that's possibly something that was factored into its design, but good to know you're susceptible to the phenomenon. My eyes narrowed at him, unsure if I should leave or stay in hopes of this turning out for the better. Besides, with how much coffee you drink and how often you sleep, you could do to drink more water, Dave. Grumbling, I shoved my hands in my pockets and turned to leave. Have you had enough for tonight? Thought I was going to be shown something interesting, but instead you've just gone and put me on edge after injecting me with something. Saline solution. It doesn't matter what it was. I just thought that you could trust me. I nodded quickly and Oswin rubbed the bridge of his nose. I do apologize. It's been a while since I've had to deal with younger adults. Although I did need to follow through to test a theory. What theory? Do you remember how I said the vault works on trauma? That perhaps you've lived through these events before? Sure, it was morpho something. Morphic resonance, but yes. That you've got a genetic memory to call upon you to keep you safe. The fact that you didn't seem to know what I was about to do implies that the trauma wasn't strong enough. Or that the vault doesn't work. Or this is the first time we're on this loop. My expression must have given away that I was confused, and he continued. Consider time to be in a constant state of flux. Changing, moving, but additionally always repeating, always looping. Ever heard of the phrase that history repeats itself? Sure, but I thought that was more about like people having habits or something. Something like that. More locally, you can see it within families. The sins of the father are the sins of the son and so forth. Or more bluntly, you learn how to behave from your parents and have an increased likelihood to be as them. That makes sense. Also the genetic part, I guess, because I'm related to my parents. So, I didn't know how to finish the thought, but I felt smart having made the connection. Didn't seem too hard to follow so far, but who knew where the conversation was going? In part, but it's more abstract than that. Or rather, think on a larger scale. Civilizations, history in general. Bigger. Think macroscopic. Microscopes? Macroscopic. The opposite. Bigger. My siblings were of the opinion that time itself loops infinitely end to end. Oh, like the move of the groundhog. Not exactly. They were of the mind that at the end of the universe, time resets over from the point of the conception of the universe and things play out exactly the same. That seems kind of silly. I agree, there's nothing to support this, but Reginald was fond of this quantum nonsense and my sister was more than happy to entertain his thoughts. To the point of wondering if they could manipulate these supposed resets with this theory of morphic resonance to actually take hold the reins of history. But that would mean that if what they thought was true about the reset thing, then, it occurred to me that Roswell would have likely got a kick out of what I was going to compare it to. Would it be like having psychic powers or something like that? No. That seemed to hit a sensitive nerve for Oswin, as he huffed and clenched his jaw. Despite what my sister believed, you're not going to get radical powers through this. Being able to save my friend seems radical? Enough! I will not entertain the thoughts of such things. It's not scientific. Okay. Fine. Besides, the vault itself is the testament to their work. If their theory held true, no event prior to its creation could be circumvented. My mind immediately jumped to the one event that I'd change if I could. I swallowed, an uneasy feeling in my stomach made me uncertain if I should ask. Which is why I find your ability to use it interesting. Kind of funny that he threw a hissy fit because it wasn't scientific. He pulled a marker out of his pocket and drew a single straight line across the paper he had flashed to me before. Time is represented like this, a single line. At least in my opinion, there are no alternate branches, there's no going back in time, only forward. On more than one occasion, you've been able to get this to work, and like I told you a few nights ago, I've only programmed in 2 passwords. One to open the door, and another for something else, yes. I wasn't joking when I said that the vault is a containment unit, considered akin to a bank vault. And the other password would be the code to my specific storage box. Which begs the question how you've been able to use the vault in ways that shouldn't be possible. Thanatos knows how to program the vault as well, but only on a theoretical level. Bring us back around to history, repeating. I don't get it. Let's say you went through life and suffered a great loss, something you witnessed and had to live through. You went about your life after it and one day died. The world went on until the collapse of the known universe. My blank stare must have upset him as he frowned and continued in a much more terse tone. The universe expands, Dave, like an elastic bannered balloon. At some point it'll snap back, inciting what we know to be the Big Bang. An implosion so strong it'll generate another universe once again. But even if that was true, how would I know to make things in the exact same way every single time? Exactly. As you say, and you'll forgive the pun, but the chances of that happening are astronomical. But that's what my siblings believe to be the case, and I hate to admit that what you've shown so far lines up with their theory at least. A sharp pain rang through my head and I clutched it briefly. Something was scratching in my mind, something that I couldn't quite explain. What's wrong? I don't know, my head hurts. He closed the gap between us and lifted my chin to look me in the eye. I felt like he was assessing me just by looking me in the eye, and carefully he stepped back, satisfied about something. You're fine. But my head! Dave, you're just tired. Granted, I could see why you might be a bit panicked. Grumbling, I messed with the fur atop my head before shoving my hands back into my pockets. So what happens now? I go to bed and then... That is the question, isn't it? I have some things to think about, but mostly I feel like it's time I do something I should have done the first time you passed out in front of the vault. Which is... make myself known to everyone currently living here. Is that smart? You were hiding for a reason, but now what's different? To be honest, not a whole lot, but it does behoove me to be somewhat of a known presence here in case things go wrong. Heaven forbid I get blamed for a murder under my own roof. You promise you're not out to kill any of us? I won't hesitate if you threaten me with lethal force. But my intention is to see you all to safety after all. I do not wish any of you dead. And Benson? He may be a trained assassin and butler, but he answers to me. Don't threaten him and you'll find yourself perfectly fine. I whined slightly, rolling my wrist lightly in my jacket pocket. That would have been nice to know this morning, but I did deserve what happened. Well, okay. Run along to bed, Dave. I'll see you sometime in the morning, or perhaps lunch. I'll figure it out after I've gotten some rest. He looked me over when I didn't move right away, quirking a brow. What's the matter? I don't like that you injected me with something without my permission. I don't like that you snuck up on me and did it either. And I don't think I trust you. Good. To be honest, I'd be worried if you did. All things considered, a healthy level of doubt will keep you alive longer. I'm a man of my word. I don't wish for any of you or yours dead, but I will defend myself. Alright, well... Backing up a bit more, I watched him until I made it back to the doorway to the lab. Are you quite done? Sorry for not feeling comfortable with my back turned to you. Then how about I lead? There's a faster way out of this part of the house. He wandered over and led me out of the lab. I followed close behind so that I could still see the white mass of his back, but far enough behind that I was out of arm's reach. We were both quiet, but the sound of the house filled in the silence. The creaks and groans of the old house making it feel alive, as if it were breathing. Osmond pushed something against the wall and a section opened, revealing what seemed to be the basement. Here we are. This is the basement? There was a passage here? He looked at me and nodded once before moving into this explanation. There's one secret passage from the conservatory to the library. You know of this one. Right, and then this one leads to the lab. Technically speaking, it attached to the library as well, but the laboratory does exist in between, as does my bedroom. Then there's one last passage leading from just outside the dining room into that same passage we just passed through. We're going to stop for a minute for a break, for the ad. I'm just going based on what I'm seeing here. That's... I thought back to where Benson would appear and disappear from, figuring this was just him making use of that passage. Hiya. Likely the one you've noticed Benson using, yes. This one he uses most often to bring me food, given how direct it is. Looking around the basement, my eyes locked on the door leading to the vault. I guess I'll see you later? It would seem so. Sleep well, Dave. By the time I looked behind me, he was already disappearing back through the passage, closing up behind him. The session looked like any other part of the wall, and if I didn't know there was a passage here, I wouldn't think twice about it. There wasn't anything left to do now. It was just time for bed, where I'd be spending the night alone. Part of me wanted it to be different. Part of me wanted to go find Orlando and cuddle up. Part of me wanted to maybe find Dean or Tyson to do the same thing. But I was alone. I stumbled up to my room, but not before heading to the conservatory to close off the passage to the library. When I got to my room, I nearly collapsed on the bed in exhaustion. The place was cold and quiet, making me shiver and cradle myself before forcing myself to shower. Clean, tired, and feeling a little lonely, I looked at my phone. Pictures of me and my friends, some of Mom and Dad, all of this mixing in to confuse my emotions further. All at once I felt sad, happy, alone, loved, and I hovered over the button to call my voicemail. I hesitated, wondering if listening to Dad's voice would do me any good before I held off and pulled my finger away from the dial button. Something in me felt lighter. Not that it made me feel better entirely, but it was something that was different at least. I scrolled through the rest of my contacts. Tyson, Roswell, Orlando. I set my phone down with a sigh and got into bed, half hugging my pillow as I tried to will sleep to come to me. Falling asleep was hard, but it happened eventually. My mind was racing, wondering about what the next day would bring, and how the others would react to Oswin, or what he did to me in the lab. It was something I had to decide if I wanted to bring up, if at all, but that was something for the morning. And we're going to leave off here tonight. Well, I really have nothing to say, so stay safe, have a good night. We're on path A, and I will see you all tomorrow.